Sign up to Council's disaster and weather event warning system. Receive alerts about emergency news, severe weather events and other public safety alerts via SMS or email. Registering to the disaster messaging system is free. To register, visit Gladstone Regional Council's Region Watch website and click on the Register for Warnings button. Get ready, Gladstone. Take the steps to protect what's most important to you. Let's be better prepared and protected for emergencies and disasters.
Gladstone Regional Council are committed to fostering a proud, involved and engaged community. The Gladstone Regional Council Community Investment Program provides financial support to local community initiatives, projects and events which promote community connections, regional enhancements, community celebrations and community education. For more information on the Community Investment Program, visit gladstone.qld.gov.au. Gladstone Regional Council. Connect, innovate, diversify.
Well, good morning. The time being 9 a.m, I declare open the general meeting of the Gladstone Regional Council for Tuesday, the 7th of November 2023. We have no apologies. All councillors are present. So I move to the next item on the agenda, which is our messages of condolence. Any messages of condolence, councillors? No. The next item on the agenda is prior notifications of conflicts of interest, and I've not been made aware of any prior notifications. Does anyone like to declare any conflicts now? Fantastic. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the Mayor's statement on current issues. And first, I would like to obviously give a huge shout out to the volunteer firefighters and SES and emergency services that supported the Low-Mead community recently, in addition to those that supported the Deepwater community the weeks before that with the fires there in the Low-Mead Coliseum area. They worked around the clock, day in, day out, and protected the community. So thank you very much to all the volunteers from our local brigades and, of course, the amazing work of our local disaster management group as well. We got some fantastic members of our local disaster management group that helped coordinate all that event. And it wasn't just our local fireys. We had firefighters from around the Rockhampton region, south around the Maryborough region, and then those visiting firefighters from Victoria as well. So huge effort from our local emergency services, as I said, and a huge thank you to everyone who got in and supported our Low-Mead and Deepwater communities just recently. As part of Seniors Month, which is now wrapped up, we had the Hope Cafe in Bullion, a sold-out event. Well done to Kylie and her team for organising that. Next year we'll be looking for a new venue, and one that we might need to be able to fit all 400 or 500 seniors in, and we think we might have found one, Kylie. So we like to get that Hope Cafe out and about in the regions. Obviously, Bullion this year, we had Raglan previously, and along the Fingerboard Road near Miriam Vale Agnes the year before. Gladstone Water Board 50th Art Exhibition. Thank you, Councillor Hanson, for representing Council at that. And the Reclaim the Night March was held on the 27th of October. Thank you, Councillor Muscat, for representing Council at that event. And the Turkey Beach 50th Birthday Bash. And I was looking forward to that very much, but unfortunately unable to attend with duties regarding the Low-Mead bushfires. So, yeah, I'm sure it was a fantastic event. I know a number of councillors went. I was really looking forward to it. It would have been amazing, and I'm so happy birthday to Turkey Beach, and congratulations for the Progress Association and all involved in making that event a huge success. The launch of the Red Shield Appeal was held on Thursday with the Christmas lunch at the Gladstone Entertainment Convention Centre, their biggest fundraising event for the year, so I encourage everyone to get involved and support the Red Shield Appeal. I did survive the Lake Awonga Adventure Race, thank you, councillors. That was held on Saturday, 1 hour 37 minutes, and still here to live to tell the story. A great event, of course, celebrating, as we said previously, 50 years of Gladstone Water Board as well, and I think it's the fifth Lake Awonga Adventure Race. Yeah, so huge event for the Bunarabi Progress Association. Later that day, the Calliope Scout Awards were held at the same venue, and I know a number of councillors attended that as well. Then the next day we had the Coolangatta Kindergarten celebrating their 50th birthdays. Lots of 50th birthdays in our region. Many locals have been through that kindergarten and grandchildren as well. And I know that some of the, at least I think maybe one of the children that went through there is now working there, or certainly been back working or assisting. Maybe they're volunteering in the kindy as well. It's great to see Coolangatta Kindy celebrating their 50th. The night before, we had the Gladstone Chamber of Commerce and Industry Best in Business Awards, and congratulations to Oakcrest Electrical, who took out the overall Best in Business Award. What a fantastic night that was. And just a few others I'd like to mention. Tina Zwiller from UHY Haynes Norton was named the business leader for the Gladstone region. The young business leader was Jonathan Digby from Collective Growth Gladstone, and the business to watch was Styles Surf School, and our Luminous won the event of the year as well. So again, Kylie, your team is just killing it. Bridget was there on the night with us and was able to support us in collecting their award, and it was really, it's very hard, as I said on the night, for council to claim award against like beach arts music, the Gladstone Harbour Festival, the shows, the Mount Larkham show. So, you know, but our team do an amazing event as well. So it's great to see that they were recognised for their work, and over 50 volunteers contribute to that event as well. And there were so many more local organisations that won awards on the night, and I won't single any more out than that, but congratulations to all of them. Thank you, councillors. Now, upcoming events, of course, it's Remembrance Day this Saturday, the 11th of November. The Gladstone Apprentices and Trainees Awards night is held on the 16th of November. Councillor Hanson and Churchill will be attending that for us as well, for the Apprentices Trainees Queensland Annual Awards Night. Is that correct? I think so. McHappy Day. Now, we don't often like to celebrate, fast food, but McHappy Day is a huge event in Australia and, of course, around the world. And it's Saturday, the 18th of November, and they raise much-needed funds for the Children's Hospital. And I encourage everyone to get out and buy a Big Mac or buy some silly socks or whatever it is to support McHappy Day. I certainly will be. You only need to see how many families from regional Queensland and in the Gladstone region who have been supported by the Ronald McDonald Charities. Our Walking for Warriors Endurance Challenge is on the Sunday, the 19th of November. Well, that's what my diary says, but I thought that would be next year. That's coming up. It's a busy time for us in the Gladstone Region Councillors, and of course we've got lots of school graduations as well, and I know we're sharing that amongst the 9 of us to get out and about to as many school graduations as we can. The Mayor's Carols by Candlelight is, of course, the Santos GLNG Mayor's Carols on the 1st of December at the GPC Marina Parklands. This year we're combining it with our Christmas street party, and we will live stream the lighting of the Christmas tree down to the carols on the night as well. Just 2 more reminders. Nominations closed for our Australia Day Awards for 2024 on the 17th of November, and expressions of interest for our Youth Council nominations closed on the 4th of December. Busy times in the Gladstone Region Councillors. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is a confirmation of the minutes of the 24th of February, October 2023. Thank you, Councillor Churchill. Moved. Seconded, Councillor Cameron. Any business arising? I put the motion. All in favour? It's carried. Thank you. We have no deputations this morning, so we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is officers' reports. And the first officers' report, G4.1, is the 2023-2024 operational plan, quarter 1 performance report, and I'll hand over to the General Manager of People and Strategy, Carly Quinn. Thank you, Carly.
Good
welcome,
morning.
Kim Markson, as well.
Thank you. So today we're proud to share the refreshed design of our quarterly performance reports. We've listened to your feedback and feedback from our people and come up with a design that enhances our transparency to the community and also makes it easier for our people to report. As you go through the report, you'll notice tabs down the side of most pages, and they indicate the goal that predominantly features in the stats on stories on that page and the reports that are being shared. So you can see the connection back to our corporate plan. Our operational plan initiatives now have 1 pages showing the status, progress, spend and all target milestones, as well as descriptions at the bottom of the page to explain any issues, risks or challenges or changes with the initiatives. As milestones are achieved, they're ticked as completed, with all milestones relevant to the quarter in a black font, so you can clearly see where we're supposed to be at this point of the year and where we are and what is left to go. So how is our performance in quarter 1? All 9 initiatives are on track to deliver by the end of the financial year. Initiatives have progressed 17% on average, and there's also 49 stories, statistics and reports showing our progress towards our goals in the report. 4 initiatives had timeline revisions, so shuffling activities across the quarter to make best use of timeline. There were some delays with procurement, recruitment and consultation, but these changes have not impacted the due dates or the end outcomes of these items. Creating constructive culture had a budget revision, so there was a decision made to increase the resources allocated to that to ensure that we had enough resource to debrief the results of it and make sure that we really embedded the outcomes of the survey with our people. That has been accommodated within the People and Strategy budget, so it's not an increase to the overall budget. Some of the highlights from the report, you'll see that there was 400 smiling faces brought our Phillip Street Communities and Families Precinct to life in September as we celebrated Welcoming Week. This event served as a great reminder of the rich diversity within our region and the values that unite us as a community. We had 180 parks bookings across the region during our cooler months of the year. Community awareness and education videos were also developed in-house, sharing information on pest, water weeds, aquarium fish and pest birds to help protect our natural environment and native species. We secured over $34 million in funding this quarter, and that surpasses the total secured last financial year of 33.1. It was 34.3 in just one quarter. With another 23 million in pending applications, we really need to celebrate the funding opportunities that enable us to diversify our revenue streams. And we really look forward to a prosperous future for our community as we continue to explore these options to reduce the financial impact on our ratepayers. Works Delivery, our Works Delivery initiative welcomed key resources that will enable us to improve the maintenance delivery model and key projects within the Works Delivery Improvement Program. Council is responsible for maintaining $3.5 billion worth of assets, and this improvement plan is helping us to ensure that we do this well. We've gone live on the search for our community engagement and education specialist, bringing us one step closer to driving forward change in community behaviour for sustainable waste management. And we received 67 customer service requests for illegal dumping and littering, which resulted in 11 infringements being issued. And thank you to our community members who dob in the dumpers and help us to keep our community beautiful and safe. We received 354 applications for our 2024 apprentice and trainee program. We celebrated 765 years of service at our milestone anniversary lunch. We resolved 88% of all phone calls to council in the first point of contact. We held 165 job interviews and made 65 appointments, welcomed 31 students for work experience, and assessed the condition of just under 2,500 kilometres of roads and pathways. Strongly encourage our community to check out this report. There's a lot of other information on there, and it'll be available on our website and socials later today. The report is a collaborative effort across the entire business of people sharing these success stories, our comms team and also Kim's team pulling it together. So thank you to everyone involved.
Thanks, Carly. Questions to the General Manager, please. Councillor Braithwaite.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. This is a really good report, actually. Thanks, Carly. Just on the waste side of things, Councillor Hanson and a lot of the team, and as well as myself, have been to waste forums over the years, and there's quite a noticeable difference. I know we're looking at the waste education specialist, or whatever you like to call it, community engagement education. But that's basically changing people's attitudes around this. But the community as a whole, you probably agree, is changing its attitude towards how it handles its own waste. We're noticing, I suppose, even in everybody that's probably watching this will probably notice that your green bin really has less in it now than what the yellow does. So it'd be nice to sort of talk about how much we're actually recovering, instead of going. We say that's 4,500 tonnes of of waste, but perception is it's going to landfill when actually it's not. It's actually, there's a lot that isn't going to landfill. There's probably less going to landfill now than what we're actually recovering. I don't know, that it could be a good way of giving the community a bit of a pat in the back as well, and saying, keep going, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, I agree. I think part of the Waste Education Officer program will be in sharing a lot of this data. And I think we're going to find there are some good stories to celebrate, but there are also some things we really need to improve on as a community and as a society. And until we can see what that data is and start to get that behavioural change, but we'll take that on board and start sharing that information.
Yeah, it's an opportunity as well to sort of maybe look at the milestones or what, especially with the actual, I suppose, the recycling side of it is going, how that the MRF is sort of being located for the around the CQ rock, and what's happening there.
Yeah. We do have our overall waste program, and Kim's actually the lead of that program from our council point of view. But we can certainly work up a bit of a community update on where all of that's up, and
pretty big subject. A lot of focus on it. Thanks very much.
Councillor Hanson.
Just on that too, on waste, they say, well, Split Ends wrote a song, history never repeats itself. But in 2009, we had a waste officer in the region. We were doing education to the public. We had videos going. 2009 this was, and we've wasted so much time over the years, and we can't take that back. I just want to make sure that this education officer is in and up in place before the time, which is, what time have you given yourself? I've got it here somewhere, but I haven't got it up. Is it the June 2024 or is it before then? I think it's before then.
Yeah, so well and truly in place and programs activated by June 24. Recruitment's underway
Yeah,
now. I
it's
believe they'll be
advertised.
commencing quite soon. So as soon as we can get
Because
them on board.
I'm not as confident as Councillor Branthwaite that our red and yellow bins aren't contaminated a little bit more than what he thinks. But because we haven't had any education, we haven't had any, well, we had audits, but they've been periodical. And our waste manager will probably correct me on that later on.
General Manager Kylie Lee is the sponsor of that, so she might give us an update.
Thanks, Carly. Councillor Hanson, I can really confidently say we've found a great candidate
good.
and we are in process of making the offer. I'm hoping to secure that person in the next 2 weeks.
Well done.
Yeah, it's no reflection on what we're doing now. I just want to make sure that it happens, that's all. And can I just keep going on
Absolutely.
another little bugbear of mine? And you probably know what I'm talking about, the access and inclusion plan. I think we first brought that up in 2009, again in 2010, and then through the periods, and we come up with an audit. We did an audit of our own infrastructure, and we put in place a disability access component in our project management at that time, and I think that's still there. Well, I hope it's still there, because it didn't really come up to scratch in the Phillip Street thing. I think we could have done better in Phillip Street, but I think we put a lesser standard on the access and equity issues there than what we should have. That's another learning point. So it's no reflection on what's happening now, but please, can this be in place by June 2024? Because for the sake of me pleading for it over the years, I just want to ensure, because the same thing could happen. I could ask about these plans and they say, yes, you say, oh, well, being put together, don't see it. Being put together, don't see it. We need this to happen now.
Thank you, Councillor Hanson. I'm also the sponsor for that particular project as well, our Access and Inclusion Plan. Both consultants have been selected and procured, so that is in process. We're having an update to our audit that occurred that you referred to, our 10-year-old audit, and then we have also engaged some. We've also engaged some consultants to help us form the Access and Inclusion Plan. Councillors are stakeholders to this plan, so you will be seeing it regularly throughout its construction. So I can assure you it'll be on track by June 2024 to be delivered.
And I take some responsibility for the for the slowness of it all, because we should have been pushing a little bit harder as councillors, I think, for this to happen.
Thank you, Councillor Hanson. Any further questions for Councillor Goodluck?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Thanks, Carly. Just the works delivery, the asset data cleansing. Great to see that. It just notes there that 6% of the data has been cleansed, further 9% in progress. Are we planning to achieve the full 100% by June 2024, or is it a particular percentage of that data work?
Yeah, I can't tell you the percentage by 30th of June. I can take that offline and bring it back to you, but 100% by December next year. So it wouldn't be 50%, but we are on track at the moment to still complete it by December 24.
No, thank you. And that answers my question. If you can let me know later on. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions, please?
I did have one, but I think I'll leave it till later on.
Go for it.
It's about fleet.
Let's do it. I'd like to hear it.
The CEO has answered me on this one.
Okay.
But I think in 2016 we had a resolution. I've been looking through my resolutions again, councillors. It was moved that the Commercial Services Committee to install GPS systems in all of our plant equipment, and the CEO reckons, has said that it's happening, but it's just been a little bit of a bumpy road, and that's another one that we need to get moving, because that resolution, I'll remind everybody, was in 2016.
Lisa?
Yes, thank you, Councillor Hanson. And it was quite a broad resolution with lacking some specific dates, which in hindsight might have been better for us to have better clarity so councillors knew what to expect. But it is an operational plan item this year and it does have focus. You'll be able to see our progress there and ensure that it is completed. But yeah, appreciate that it's taken a while to get to where we are now.
Councillor Muscat?
I don't really have a question, but I wanted to say that I noticed the changes, and I think they look great. And it does. It did make sense before, but obviously, if you knew or you're not in the day-to-day operations of council, it can get a little bit, too much. So again, I think I do this every time, but I do encourage people to read it. And, we do get a bit frustrated sometimes when things don't move as fast as we want, but we have lots of things to move. So, and this report kind of shows a little bit of that. So while we sometimes think, oh, well, how long does it take you to do this? It's like, yeah, well, it shouldn't take that long, that's true, but that isn't the only thing we do. So yeah, if I really encourage people to read it they will also probably realise that there's a lot of things we do that they didn't know we did. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Muscat. Any further questions? Mover for the officers' report. So the Council endorse the 2023-2024 operational plan quarter one report. Thank you, Councillor Branthwaite. Seconded, Councillor O'Grady. Put the motion. All in favour? It's carried. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Kim. The next item on the agenda is G4.2, which is proposed amendments to the Reconciliation Action Plan reference group terms of reference. Now I'll hand over to the General Manager of Finance, Governance and Risk, Mark Holmes, who's looking much like Kylie Lee.
No, I'm just not going to change seats.
Okay, thank you. To Mark Holmes, who was on this side of the table. Thank you.
Yeah. Morning, Mayor, morning, councillors. This item is we're putting towards some amendments to our Reconciliation Action Plan reference group. So our RAP group exists to essentially guide the development and implementation of our Reconciliation Action Plan. We had a terms of reference that was there to guide our first Innovate RAP. We've now, as you would be well aware, adopted in June 23 our second Innovate RAP. So as part of that process, it's been natural to review the terms of reference. So the team's been working through that with the governance team, and there is a list there of 7 changes proposed to the terms of reference there for your consideration. So ready to take any questions. Myself, General Manager of Community and Lifestyle, Chloe Lee, and our governance business partner, Vicky Hankinson. If you have any questions.
Thanks, Mark. They seem fairly minor changes and obviously recommended from the committee. Councillor Muscat, you're co-chair.
Yes, I am. And yeah, we had many emails back and forth to consult with the rest of the group to see if, to come to this proposal. And they are really just some updates. And there are maybe just some of the more significant ones are the fact that we can now extend the 4-term tenure if some people want to stay, and that will ensure that we have some people at least that have the experience of the previous groups. But it's also because for example, the second Innovate RAP is for 24 months too. So, so yeah, everything's been done in consultation with everyone else, and some things needed to be done, like, for example, the fact that we needed to add the background to the fact that we now have a second Innovate RAP, and that wasn't there because it was outdated. And so I'm happy to move it if that is correct. I'm not sure.
Happy for you to move. Second, please. Councillor O'Grady, and Councillor O'Grady has a question as well, or a comment.
Just a comment. I'd just like to congratulate Gay on getting all that information together, because it was hard work, and got everybody in the room and sat it. So I think big congratulations to Gay. Thanks, Carly.
Thank you, Councillor O'Grady. Move Councillor Muscat, second to Councillor O'Grady. Any further questions? Let's put the motion. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is G4.3, which is a tender for supply and delivery of ready mix and precast concrete. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is for your consideration of a registered pre-qualified supply for our essentially our delivery of ready mix and precast concrete materials. So we've gone to the market to test that, and we have received one submission there with respect to that tender. So this report's there for your consideration. Got our Manager of Contracts and Procurement, Christy Wachner, here to answer any questions.
Happy to move the officer's recommendation, Mr. Mayor.
That might be very easy. Move Councillor Churchill. Seconder, please. Councillor Hanson. Now, is there any questions for Christy? her last meeting. Let's ask her a
Okay,
question.
there will be some.
Councillor Branthwaite.
Got to ask
That
a
is what I
question.
told you.
Only one submission? Wow. And there's what, 4 or 5 other groups around the district?
It's a
And
private.
only, eh?
It's the nature of the industry and the nature of times, councillor Brentwaite.
Oh, wow. Okay, no worries, thank you.
I think there was 2, but one was non-conforming, wasn't it? Which one, I did read in the confidential item of my brief, sorry.
So go look after you speaking.
I thought there was 2 applicants, but one was unsuccessful due to doing something
Non-conforming, I think it was.
non-conforming. Does that make sense, or am I looking at a different approval one?
The report says there was only one offer submitted, so perhaps it's the, is that correct? Christine?
Well, maybe I've mucked that up, sorry.
Might be a future one that you're thinking of. Not sure. Yeah. Okay.
I find it interesting that you asked a question, only one question of our officer, and Councillor Churchill answered it. I found that interesting.
I thought it was a mono.
Sorry.
As the mover of the motion, I thought it might be appropriate to say that that's the nature of what's going on in the industry out there at the moment.
From my material that I have in front of me, we have two applicants. One applicant that presumably will be successful because it was conforming, and the other applicant was excluded. As non-conforming.
Lisa, is Councillor Trevor reading a different report to me?
The report says only one offer's been received,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we can't refer to discuss
Individual,
confidential
yeah.
arrangements in the open meeting, so I don't know if I could.
Okay, yep, sorry.
Okay.
I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. I have a move by Councillor Churchill and seconded Councillor Hanson. No? Do you have a question, even though you moved the motion? Okay, I'm going to put the motion. All in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. And the next item on the agenda is G4.4, which is the general, sole and specialised supplier additional and amended. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. This item is for essentially your consideration to essentially amend our register of essentially those specialised suppliers that we have, and essentially those one-off suppliers we have to support various OEM materials that we have across the business. So there's been some. This is a report that we essentially bring back to you essentially every 6 months or thereabouts as we get new machinery and new items into the business. So that report is there for your consideration for essentially 5 new items in that space.
Very straightforward, councillors. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Seconded, Councillor Hanson. Put the motion. All in favour? That is carried. Next item is G4.5, which is expenditure approval, waste grinding services. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This item is to consider for you essentially the authorisation for us to essentially work through the provision of waste grinding services at our Benarabi landfill. It is a significant expense that we incur each and every year. As that expense is over 500,000, essentially we do need to bring that expenditure through to council for approval. But certainly it's as part of our waste risk reduction at those sites, we need to regularly get on top of those facilities, and as demonstrated through recent fires at the Gladstone Waste Transfer Station and in the not so distant past at the Benarabi. If we don't stay on top of it, this becomes a real risk at these sites. So we just need this is there for your consideration.
Councillor Hanson, are you moving or a question?
Happy to move.
Okay. Second, Councillor Branthwaite. Okay. Councillor Trevor, yeah.
I just had a question in relation to the volume going through. From recollection of my reading the report, there has been an increased volume of material being delivered to our sites. Is there a reason for that increase? And in fact, is there a reason, presumably, for a decrease in people not taking that green waste away? And I can't remember whether there's a charge for residents in relation to green waste. I think it's free, isn't it? Yes. But should we be actively campaigning to get people to come and collect this stuff?
It is one of the things we do regularly. I'll get our Manager Waste Operations, Chris Irving, to answer some of those questions for you.
In terms of volumes received, that's driven by the community. In terms of what's presented at all of our transfer stations and at the landfill. In terms of the other end, in terms of the mulch product that we provide, for the last 3 years, we've had successive mulch campaigns where we've had free loading of the mulch to encourage residents to take the mulch. If you self-load, it's for free. There's a $10 loading charge, typically applied for assisted loading, and same as our commercial operators. So having that avenue for the mulch product, it can be a challenge at times, and that's why for successive years we've had free mulch loading campaigns to encourage and promote the community to come and take that product, which is taken up by both domestic and commercial operators as well.
So do we have any evidence-based information as to why there has been a significant increase and why we now have to spend $500,000 to deal with the increased wastage, given that we haven't had a good wet season to date, and yet the increases are obviously happening in our facilities?
Yeah. So a contributing factor to the size of this order, of this singular expense, is the duration between grinding activities. So ideally we would grind at a more regular basis, which would be at a reduced cost. The reason why this one is at the level it's at is we needed to establish new contracts with service providers. So we've had a delay in being able to grind. So in effect, we've got a larger amount to grind now than what we typically would have previously. Yeah.
Councillor Muscat.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to maybe also, I guess not necessarily for your team, but for the finance team, Mark, when we go through the budget process and we look at, the cost of managing waste, and then when we look at cost recovery and when we do some of those things, so I guess I don't know exactly what question to ask you, but I'm just thinking, if you know what I mean, it's more like, how do we then translate everything that is happening and is costing us into understanding how we recover our cost, or what is that we're not recovering, also how to push that into fees if we need to, and if we're not going to, how much is costing, and I guess again, making sure that our community understands what it costs us to provide this free service, which it isn't free, obviously. I'm not saying that we need to charge for it, but that is when we talk about what do we get for our rates, what do we get for these, well, obviously this is one of those things that no one is paying for, but paying specifically at the gate, but to make people understand how expensive, costly and resource-consuming waste management is.
So there's a number of ways in which we recover our costs associated with waste management facilities. So it essentially falls into our rating header powers. So there's our cleansing charge that basically covers your truck. So that's essentially what you see goes as essentially your garbage charge. So that's what goes through as your truck. Also going on, the other big revenue stream is essentially then your landfill fee. So those that go over the weighbridge. So that's essentially then covers those that drop directly through. Where some of the increase in costs, where we've got a number of fee waivers, where people go directly through to landfill, that happens at no charge, and that's been an increasing cost over the years. We do have essentially a waste management facility charge that attempts to cover some of that gap, and that covers the cost of not only running the transfer station but also of providing some of these services as well. Obviously, in a number of places, and I think waste is one of those areas that will continue to evolve, as we've talked about in this room on many occasions. I think the revenue streams will change over a period of time as those different products have different markets emerge with respect to those. But at the moment, essentially our real two big options are essentially our garbage truck through our rates and then our landfill. But we do actually then have the waste management facility fee that goes on everyone's rate notice. That is essentially the single flat charge just to cover that gap.
Thank you. Which we calculated, for example, without knowing that this was going to be a need. So I think, and I guess, sorry, it will be wonderful to have, in relation to the waste education officer, not just teaching people how, you know, beneficial it is to best manage their own waste, but also for people to understand how much it costs and what's involved in it. So I don't know if that's something that it's included, Kylie, in the education piece, but yeah, because that's some of those things that the same as, you know, the provision of water and sewage. People just think that magically things just disappear, and that's not the case.
Yeah. Councillor Hanson, then Councillor Churchill. No, Councillor Hanson.
Very importantly, the expenditure of $525,300.50 is ex-GST is contained within the budget. Very importantly.
Yes, it's that's within the budget allocation for this year. Yeah.
Excellent. Any further questions? Let's move Councillor Hanson and second Councillor Branthwaite, I believe. Thank you, and put the motion. All in favour? It's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Christy. Next item on the agenda, councillors, is G 4.6, Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee membership, and I'll hand back to Mark Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is for you to consider membership of your Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. As part of best practice, we actually have 2 external members as members of our Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. Actually, we've got 3 external members. We're considering 2 at this time. So we've got Stephen Coates, Chair, and Sandra Collins as an external member that are essentially reaching the end of their term at the end of this calendar year. The officer's recommendation is to extend for an additional 12 months, which would take them up to essentially their max term, as provided for within our current practice there, and then look at then commencing a recruitment campaign then to essentially appoint new representatives for 1 January 25.
Okay, move Councillor Churchill.
Yeah, happy to move, Mr. Mayor.
Second, Councillor Cameron. No question. If we extend there for 12 months, the 2 new members will just come on and they will go, and there'll be no handover period.
Yeah, generally we'll commence that recruitment straight away. So generally, traditionally, we've allowed at least a 3-month handover. So we'll commence the recruitment during early parts of next year with a view to having those new members in place for the September meeting, working through from there.
Okay, sorry, just because it said January 1, 2025, but that doesn't affect...
They'll be solely appointed from that point.
Okay, that's fine. Excellent. Any further questions? Councillor Moscato.
Just also to note that because of elections next year, we might also have some changes in the councillors' representatives in a way.
That's something that can be dealt with after March.
Yeah. So there will be some changes. Well, maybe not, but yeah, we just don't know.
Councillors on the committee is yourself and Councillor Cameron?
Yeah, look, I agree with the recommendation. Steve Coates has only just taken on the chair role. So I think another 12 months with Stephen at the chair would be good. And Peter is the newest member. And I would imagine that the natural transition would be that Peter might move into the chair position when you get your 2 extra new members. So it seems like a fairly good fit to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Cameron. Well, we have it moved and second, is that right? Thank you. That's for the officer's recommendation to put the motion. All in favour? That is carried as well. The next item, councillors, is back to the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee, G 4.5. It's the committee minutes for the 20th of September 2023. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is just for your receiving with respect to the minutes from our 20th of September Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee meeting. the meeting considered not only our annual financial statements that were presented to audit, but also a number of other items there that are noted, ranging from everything from our asset management plans and our progress with respect to the development and review of those, but also looking at a number of internal audit reports, our annual insurance renewals, and also looking at essentially the annual committee's progress and its self-assessment. Happy to take the report as read and take any questions.
Thank you, Mark. Questions to the General Manager or to the committee members? Moved Councillor Cameron, seconded Councillor O'Grady. No further questions. Put the motion. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you, councillors. All right, the next item on the agenda is councillors' reports. Is there any councillor reports? I have no written reports. Any table reports? There we go. Okay, and there's no urgent business, there's no notice of motion, there's no confidential items. Before I close the meeting, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Christy Wachner, our Manager of Contracts and Procurement in Mark's team, who's her last meeting with the council today as she heads off to Brisbane. We thank you for your advice and your information and your involvement in our council meetings over the period of time you've been with us. We're going to miss you, Christy, so thank you very much, and we'll join us for morning tea. Thank you. Declare the meeting closed at 9:40 a.m. Thanks.